welcome back to my channel. I'm going to read you guys a letter that the Rzuceks wrote to the investigators. The first part is going to be from Frank, and then the second part will be from Sandy. It's in the discovery. I mean, a lot of you guys probably already have heard it, maybe. I don't know, but I thought maybe I'd do a little, read through for you guys. The first part says, "Attention, Dave Baumhofer. I noticed Chris was acting different with the girls. He was yelling at them, raising his voice with them, which made me look at him like, what are you doing? Also, when Shanann would FaceTime him, which she did every day while she was here on vacation." So he's actually talking about when Shanann was in North Carolina and Chris was in Colorado. So she would ask him if he was going to pay attention to the girls. He was looking like he was looking at something else. When he came here for the last week of vacation, the girls would not go to him. They would go to mommy, and he did not like that at all. The look on his face, like he was mad at them. I went to the beach with them for the first 3 days, and Celeste would say, "That's my truck," talking about Papa's truck. He said that, "I have a truck too," and she said, "But that's my truck," talking about Papa's. So Papa's is himself. He's talking about Frank's truck. Like they're saying, "Oh, that's my truck," talking about like his truck. But Chris is getting mad because he's calling Frank's truck their truck and not Chris's truck, And so he said that I have that truck too. And she said, "But that's my truck," talking about Papa's. The first night he was strange. He came out and laid on the floor in the living room where I was sleeping on the couch. I was watching TV, and when I shut the TV off, he sat up and I said, "What are you doing?" He said he had a backache and it would help him. That was strange to me for him to lay on the floor. Thinking about it, he was acting kind of distant because the girls wanted me more than him. Jealous. I mean, that right there, a narcissist right there. He wants all the attention. He wants all, he is so jealous right now because his girls are paying more attention to their papa. So either, so I wonder if maybe that's kind of when he's starting to, think in his head, well, these girls aren't bringing me any supply, they're not giving me anything, like I need to move on. So he didn't like that too much. I mean, that's taking all his supply. Papa's taking all of Chris's supply, so he's not liking that at all. So I'm just wondering if that was maybe the time where he started kind of thinking, they're not doing anything for me anymore. I need to move on. Because you know how narcissists are. They just almost like discard him like trash. Like they said like Frankie and Frank said in that during the court. I mean, that's what they do. They don't, there's no use, so there's no need. They don't produce any supply for them, then they're useless for them. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't need them anymore. So he wanted to start a new family with NK. So I feel like maybe that's when he started realizing, like, not that he wasn't already thinking about it anyway, but maybe that's when it really became finalized. Well, pretty close to finalized, when he realized, wow, my own kids, like, yeah, like they're not giving me any. He likes like something that will benefit him, and if they're not benefiting him anymore, he doesn't need them. They're no use for him, And like they say, narcissists or covert narcissists both, like when somebody shames them, like they turn against you. And I guarantee right there that kind of made him feel almost a little bit of like shame in a way, not that their kids did it on purpose, because they're young, they didn't know, but they were probably hurt. Well, I don't want to say hurting his feelings because he doesn't really have any feelings, but hurting his supply, so I don't know. I just think that could have been a big turning point, when he realized, wow, when he realized they're not bringing me any benefit, like they're not benefiting me at all in his mind. Now, a normal father would love their kids, and just to be able to love them is enough, you know what I'm saying? But for him, no. If they can't bring him any kind of benefit, then he has no use for them. So He's definitely jealous. Okay. So now this is from Sandy. So attention, Dave Baumhover. In 2009, Shanann built her house in Charlotte, North Carolina, battling her lupus. Her friend told her about her cousin Chris, saying he is a very nice guy, quiet, etc. Yeah, right. Very nice, yeah. I bet you that friend of hers feels so bad right now for introducing her cut. Well, no, that's her friend, his cousin. Yeah, I would like to interview his cousin and see what he or she. I'm not sure if it's a guy or a girl, but that makes me wonder what they feel about this now. You know, that they're the ones that introduced. Well, not introduced them, but kind of set them up, that told her about her cousin. So, I mean, I just wonder if she's taken Chris's side, because it's his cousin. I don't know. I would like to talk to her or him. Anyway, so Shanann got a request from him on Facebook. Months later, she called me saying, "Mom, I met a nice guy. He's a mechanic." I said, "As long as you're happy and he's good to you." A few months after that, Shanann and Chris had a family gathering, and Frank, I, and his parents had a cookout. They were floored when they saw her house. Shanann was a hard worker and wanted us to eventually sell and make a profit to keep doing so, eventually be mortgage free. Comes from a family of contractors. So Shanann was eager to please his parents, waiting on them hand and foot. When Shanann left the back porch, it was just me and Chris's mom. She leaned over to me and said, "Shanann was married before?" I said, "Yes, just like your daughter." Then a while later again, when we were alone, and she said, "I just don't see it." I said, "What?" She said, "I don't feel or see that your daughter loves my son." I knew she was going to be a thorn in the marriage because my mother-in-law was the same way. So every time we had cookouts, his mom and sister were very quiet and distant. We weren't accepted. They made that known. So forward to engagement party. Shanann and I shopped for food, wine, etc. Spent a lot. Jamie, Chris's sister, wanted all the invitations so she could help. So Shanann told me, "Mom, Jamie wants to help send the invitations. What do you think?" She's accepting me. Aww. She's so happy. She's like, "What do you think? She's accepted me." Like, oh, she wants to help send the invitations. She's so happy. She said, "I'm going to let her do it." So this mom and sister prepped food and cross-contaminated everything. So Shanann couldn't eat any of it. Gluten-free, nothing. Everything was made with gluten. So thank God I made lots of food I brought that at least my daughter could eat. So as the night went on, Shanann and I went in the bedroom, and Shanann told me, "Mom, I had like 80 invites and only immediate family came." So Shanann called people the next day to learn that they never received an invite. Shanann was devastated. Shanann and Chris were so upset. They knew not to ask again. Then came the wedding. No one from his whole family came. Just his grandmother and uncle. No mom, dad, sister, aunts, and cousins. No one came. Chris spoiled Shanann and vice versa. They were so in love. They were a great team. They moved to Colorado and lived with Shanann's friend for 1 year while they were building their house. Everything was great. Shanann saw something on Chris's private parts that didn't look normal. They went to the doctors, cancer, so it was removed. She saved his life. Then Shanann got pregnant with Bella Marie. Everyone was so excited and happy. Shanann and Chris were wonderful parents. Chris and Shanann were working at the Ford dealership in Longmont. Shanann was selling cars. Chris was the lead mechanic. A great team. Shanann was top sales. Then Bella came, so Shanann stopped working because of high-risk pregnancy. She was a trooper through the whole thing. Both families seemed happy. Chris's sister never flew to Colorado at any time they were out there. Cindy and Ronnie came 2 times a year. Shanann worked at Children's Hospital at nights and also sold 31 bags, travel bags on the side. Everything was good. Shanann got pregnant with Celeste, and pregnancy was really rough on Shanann with her lupus. Very high-risk pregnancy again, but only this one was worse for Shanann. Water weight gain, severe back pain, shortness of breath, pains in her chest, fatigue, exhaustion. My husband and I sold everything but our house and moved out to live with them, to help our daughter in every way we could. Frank and I had to work to pay our bills too. We were there for 15 months. Chris's mom came out to watch the girls for a few days, while Shanann and Chris went on a business trip with Lavelle, her company. 4 nights and 5 days. During that time, we weren't allowed to see our grandchildren or even eat dinner with them. As soon as we got home, she brought them upstairs and stayed upstairs. She wouldn't let us hold them or anything. I found that very odd. One day I asked her why. She said, "What the hell am I here for then?" She screamed in my face in front of my granddaughters and said that I was very controlling. I was just like, wow. I texted Shanann over and over again, and she said, "Relax, Mom. I'll take care of it when we get home." It was ridiculous. I never spoke to Chris's mom again. I had enough. After 15 months, I moved back home. It was hard to leave, but I felt it was for the best. I have been home now 17 months later. My whole family is dead. My beautiful daughter and beautiful grandchildren, all dead. Everything seemed fine. Our daughter never spoke about anything bad. She did speak to us about bankruptcy, a lot of debt. With all of the medical bills, Belle and Celeste were back and forth to doctors, misdiagnosed for 2 years. I told Shanann that they had asthma and that she needed to fire that doctor. One day she went in and the PA was there and she diagnosed them with asthma. Finally, the girls were doing great. Other than earplugs put in the girls being very allergic to tree nuts, which would have caused them death, Celeste was born with her esophagus too small. They went in 3 times to enlarge it. Steroids like crazy to help her breathe for a year and a half or longer. All until they were diagnosed with asthma. Then Shanann with her neck surgery, which out of pocket $25,000 they owed. So that's why there was so much debt. I noticed that when we would FaceTime every night for 4 years straight, looking back, starting late May 2018, when we FaceTime, Chris was putting the phone all over the room, ceiling, floor, etc. I said, "Chris, are you all right?" Then he would FaceTime normally. Huh. That's kind of weird. May 2018, he started doing that. That's kind of weird, huh? Wonder why he did that. Crazy. Before Shanann came to North Carolina, Celeste had a rash in her private area, and she went to get a face cloth and some cream. Chris had the phone. I said, "Chris, let me see how bad it is," being that I am an aide, so I still couldn't see. So I said, "Wait, let me move my screen because I couldn't see." He put it right on our privates. Oh, I was mad. Shanann wanted to come for 6 weeks this summer so she could introduce the girls to Chris's sister Jamie, who never met Celeste or Uncle Frankie, our son, before the year started back to school, dance classes, etc. It was the best time was now. We were thrilled. Shanann stayed the week here, then weekends with Chris's parents. The first weekend was great with Chris's dad and family. However, the following weekend was a different story. Saturday was rough for Shanann. She was protecting her children from peanuts in every form. Ice cream, a bowl full of nuts, and open razor blades just laying around the house. Man. Shanann called her father, "Come pick me up now, please." Shanann said Cindy was trying to give the kids ice cream with peanut chips in it. Shanann asked Cindy, "What kind of ice cream is that?" Cindy said, "Oh, relax, it's just ice cream." Shanann said, "Please, let me read the ingredients." Cindy told my daughter that she was scary, so the girls walked outside to play with Jamie, Aunt Chris's sister. So after Shanann got done explaining to Cindy how dangerous peanut allergy is to the girls, Cindy ignoring Shanann went outside, Jamie walked in, so the girls walked back in, and as Shanann walked in the kitchen, noticed a large bowl of peanuts now sitting on the table. That wasn't there 2 minutes before. So Shanann called me and explained everything. She said, "Mom, I'm being double teamed." And I said, "What?" She told me everything. But when she told me about the razor blades, I said, "What?" She changed the subject really quick because my daughter knows I would have been there and caused a big scene. I love my family. Protection. I said Dad's on his way. She got home here and was beside herself. I was furious along with her. As someone that you trust would try to get a child sick or die feeding them peanuts. Razor blades? Shanann told 4 people this. Me, Frank, Sandra, Garanda, and Nikki. She called Chris that night and she was so upset. Chris said he will handle it. So Shanann didn't ever go back again to see them. None of Chris's family came to Cece's birthday party. And Cindy sent Cece's package out to Colorado, which is still there in a box at their house. So Shanann and the girls and us had a wonderful time the rest of the trip. When Chris came here for his week here and Shanann's 6 weeks here, Shanann picked him up at the airport with the girls. They were so excited to see their dad that they set off the alarm for running up to him. Chris spent the day with his parents, and Shanann dropped him off at the nursing home to see his grandma. Shanann and girls came back here. Chris was acting really weird to Shanann. He didn't have time to speak to her. And then he was going to stay at his parents because we had a storm with no streetlights not working. Chris's dad brought him back here to our home. Shanann and Chris spoke on our back porch for a few hours about how he has been in the peanut stuff in his mom's house. Chris was distant to Shanann. Shanann was vomiting all night, and Chris didn't get up to see how she was. This was his wife. They left for Myrtle Beach, and Frank went with them for a couple days, being that it was our granddaughter's first time at the beach. Frank left them. I came a day and a half. The girls and I had a blast. Chris was very quiet, doing his own thing and ignoring Shanann. I said to my daughter, "Is everything okay?" She said, "Chris is Chris." So we were at the beach, and we went to dinner, and Chris drove Shanann and the girls. No room, so I drove behind them. I was doing 83 miles an hour to catch up with them and texting Shanann, "Why is he driving like that? Tell him to slow down. I'm not in a race to go to dinner." At dinner, Chris left the table quite a few times, very silent. He was ignoring his kids and wife. Cece was being funny, and he walked away again. I left the next day. They came 2 days later. I asked Shanann to stay here with the girls. She said Chris has good insurance for the girls. They went back home to Colorado. Gosh, don't we all wish she would have just stayed in North Carolina? Man. Okay, I'm devastated. P.S. The only reason Chris got fit was because diabetes runs high in his family, and Shanann wanted him to live forever. Sandy Rzucek. Okay, so that was the letters. I just wanted to read you guys. I don't know if maybe some of you guys haven't heard, but that Sandy and Frank wrote to the investigator, Dave Baumhover. Sandy told the investigators also that that blue blanket, I guess that's always on the couch, has not been located. And still to this day has not been found. So I'm pretty sure that was the blanket that the girls had. And I'm not sure, is the blue blanket the Yankees blanket? Is that the blanket he smothered them with? Or is that just, because he said they each had a blanket when they walked out of the house, or whether they walked out, or, I mean, some people don't believe his story. I don't know. I do think that we'll never get the full truth, because he's a narcissist. He will never tell us the full truth because he wants to have that upper hand. You know, the minute he tells all the full truth, and he loses all his power. But him knowing the truth and us not knowing the truth, it gives him power, and he knows that. You know, people are constantly gonna want to still write him and talk to him and have relationships with him, because like the mystery, and like they don't know and they want answers, and you know, like the investigators keep going back to interview him because they know that there's holes in his story, and you know, everybody's still talking about him, trying to figure it out, and he knows the minute he tells the exact truth, then he loses all that power. I mean, that's how a narcissist thinks. So he's keeping that upper hand, and he'll never tell us the full truth ever. That's what I truly believe. But yeah, so that blue blanket, Sandy said, is they always have it on the couch, and it's gone. You still can't find it. So, like I said, remember how he said the one had the big blue blanket? But that's what I want to ask. You guys comment. Is the big blue blanket he's talking about, is that the Yankees blanket too? You know, because he said they each had a blanket. One had a blue blanket. You know, the first part he said that. And then later on when he said how he strangled them. I mean, he used both words, which doesn't make any sense. But anyway, he said it was the Yankees blanket. So I'm not sure if that was the blue one that he was and that Sandy's talking about too, or I don't know. But none of those blankets, either of them are gone. You know, there was supposedly 2 blankets, and they're both gone with the stuffed animal. I mean, nobody ever found them. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Bye.